Control of the records. Who really owns the file? As we conclude Chapter 4, we now move into one of the most critical and evolving areas of compliance: electronic storage systems. While transaction management systems organize and track files, electronic storage systems determine where those files live, who controls them, and how they are protected. This section builds directly on Section 4.3. Once a transaction is completed and documented, the next question becomes, where is the file stored and who has control over it? Under ARS, Paragraph 32-21511, the broker is responsible for maintaining records. This responsibility does not change simply because records are stored electronically. Whether documents are stored in a cloud system, internal server, or third-party platform, the broker must maintain access, control, and security. The shift to digital storage has made compliance more efficient, but it has also introduced new risks, particularly around ownership, security, and reliance on third-party providers. Broker-owned versus third-party systems. Understanding the risk. Electronic storage systems generally fall into two categories: broker-owned systems, third-party, cloud-based systems. A broker-owned system is one where the brokerage maintains direct control over the storage environment. This may include internal servers or private cloud systems. The advantage is full control over data access, retention, and security. The downside is the cost and complexity of maintaining such systems. Most modern brokerages, including many in the Phoenix metro area, rely on third-party platforms such as Google Drive, Dropbox, or integrated systems like SkySlope. While these systems offer convenience and scalability, they introduce a key compliance concern: the broker does not own the system. For example, a brokerage in Gilbert stores all transaction files in a third-party platform. If the brokerage loses access due to a billing issue, account suspension, or technical failure, the broker may lose access to required records. This creates a direct compliance violation. Under AAC R4281103, the broker must maintain control over brokerage records. This means the broker must be able to access all records at any time. Records cannot be controlled solely by individual agents. The system must allow for retrieval during an audit. A critical mistake occurs when agents store files in personal accounts. If an agent leaves the brokerage and takes access with them, the broker has lost control of the records. Data security and control issues. Protecting client information. Electronic storage is not just about access, it is about security. Real estate transaction files contain sensitive information, including social security numbers, financial records, bank statements. Personal identification. Under AAC R4281101, exercise of reasonable care, brokers and agents must protect confidential client information. Failure to secure data can lead to both regulatory discipline and civil liability. Common security risks include weak password protection, shared login credentials, unsecured file sharing links, lack of encryption or data protection measures. For example, an agent in Scottsdale shares a transaction file using a public link without password protection. The file contains buyer financial information. If accessed by an unauthorized party, this could result in a data breach and potential liability for both the agent and broker. Best practices for compliance include role-based access controls, only authorized users can view files, secure login requirements and multi-factor authentication, encrypted storage and transmission, regular audits of system access and permissions. Security is not optional. It is part of the broker's duty of care. AI and digital storage compliance, navigating new rule updates. With the rapid adoption of artificial intelligence and automated systems, electronic storage compliance has entered a new phase. AI tools are now being used to summarize documents, generate notes, and even store and process transaction data. However, these tools introduce new compliance risks. Under recent ADRI modernization updates and existing rules such as AAC R4281101 and R428502, brokers must ensure that client data entered into AI systems is protected. Confidential information is not improperly shared or stored. AI-generated content does not create misrepresentation or inaccuracies. For example, an agent uses an AI platform to summarize a purchase contract and uploads the document into the system. If the AI platform stores that data externally or uses it for training purposes, confidential client information may be exposed. Additionally, AI-generated summaries or notes stored in a file must still be accurate. If an AI tool misinterprets contract terms and that information is relied upon, the broker may face liability under ARS, paragraph 32-2153 for misrepresentation or negligence. Key compliance considerations include understanding how AI platforms store and use data, avoiding entry of sensitive client information into unsecured AI tools, verifying all AI-generated content before storing it in transaction files, maintaining human oversight at all times. The core principle remains the same. Technology can assist, but it does not replace professional responsibility. Integration with ADRI modernization rules, the new compliance standard. Recent ADRI rule updates have modernized how electronic records, advertising, and digital systems are regulated. These changes reflect the reality of today's real estate environment, where nearly all transactions are conducted electronically. Key areas of integration include electronic record keeping is fully accepted, provided records are complete and accessible. Digital signatures and electronic communications are valid and enforceable. Advertising rules now apply equally to digital and AI-generated content. Broker supervision must extend to all digital platforms used by agents. For example, a brokerage in Tempe uses a fully digital workflow, from listing input to closing. As long as the broker can produce complete records, demonstrate supervision, and ensure compliance with advertising and disclosure rules, the system meets ADRI requirements. However, modernization does not reduce responsibility. It increases expectations. Brokers must now understand not only real estate law, but also how technology impacts compliance. This ties back to AAC R4 281103, which requires brokers to establish written policies and procedures. These policies must now address approved storage systems, data security protocols, use of AI and digital tools, agent responsibilities for electronic record keeping, bringing it all together. Electronic storage systems are the foundation of modern record keeping. They determine how records are stored, protected, and accessed, and ultimately whether a brokerage can demonstrate compliance. The key takeaway from this section is control. Whether using broker-owned systems or third-party platforms, the broker must maintain control over records, ensure data security, and adapt to evolving technology such as AI. As Chapter 4 concludes, we now have a complete framework. Records must be retained. Records must be stored securely. Systems must track and document activity. Storage must be controlled and compliant. This framework is what allows a brokerage to withstand audits, avoid disciplinary action, and operate at a high professional standard in today's market. Online discussion. What is the main difference between broker-owned and third-party storage systems? Answer. Broker-owned systems provide full control over data, while third-party systems rely on external providers and may introduce access and control risks. Why is data security critical in electronic storage systems? Answer. Because transaction files contain sensitive client information, and failure to protect that data can result in legal liability and regulatory discipline. What risks are associated with using AI in transaction storage? Answer. AI tools may store or misuse confidential data, generate inaccurate information, or create compliance issues if not properly supervised. Multiple choice questions. What is the primary concern when using third-party storage systems? They are too expensive. They require too much training. They do not allow document uploads. The broker may lose control or access to records. Answer. The broker may lose control or access to records. What is a key responsibility under data security rules? Sharing files freely. Using public links for convenience. Allowing all agents full access. Protecting confidential client information. Answer. Protecting confidential client information. What is the biggest risk of using AI in storage systems? It slows down transactions. It replaces agents. It increases marketing costs. It may expose or misuse confidential data. Answer. It may expose or misuse confidential data. True, false questions. Brokers are not responsible for records stored in third-party systems. Answer. False electronic storage must allow access to records during an audit. Answer. True AI tools eliminate the need for human oversight. Answer. False data security is part of a broker's duty of care. Answer. True.